ladies and gentlemen, I take the honor, if you will, of doing this every year. But this year is particularly relevant insofar as the theme of the year for the MS Society is breakthrough stories. And I was one of those many years ago that was diagnosed with multiple sclerosis. I was with my family walking along, and my family turned to me and said, "Roger, why is your left leg dragging?" And I had no consciousness of that being true. And my family said, "Oh, Roger, this is serious. You need to go see some people." And so I did, went to 3 different leading hospitals in the country, and all of them said the same thing, probable MS. And it proceeded to basically my left leg fundamentally stopped working in a way that it needs to work. And for 12 years, I would wake up every morning wondering, as anybody does that has been diagnosed with MS, as to what is going to happen next. And I started out with taking the drugs and the steroids that were offered at the time, and at that point in time, actually, it wasn't great. And that's one of the reasons why having these kinds of every year proclamations is important, because now actually the medications are so much better. And so it is so important to, 1, have an awareness of this disease, and 2, an awareness of the opportunities to heal, and 3, just the appreciation that all of us must have for the opportunity to live full lives. And so every year we have this. I will let Dr. Seth Morgan speak, Ms. Beaudois speak, and then I'll read this proclamation.
On behalf of the Commission on People with Disabilities and the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, I am very appreciative to the County Council and to the County Executive for this proclamation. And it is a thing that we do every year because it is important. And the reason it's important is because multiple sclerosis can take on many appearances. For some people, the muscles may get weak. For other people, the muscles get very tight, so they're not weak. They're actually strong. It can cause pain for some people, and it causes numbness for others. Totally opposite ends of the spectrum. It can cause, when it involves the bladder, it can cause some people not to be able to urinate properly, and it'll make other people unable to control their urine. So it's one of those diseases that is very difficult to diagnose. And in fact, there is still a 2-year average period between initial symptoms until actual diagnosis in this country. And the reason that that's so critically important to impact, excuse me, is because the sooner you start medication, the sooner you have a chance to at least slow down or possibly eliminate symptoms in the long run. There are the only medications that are available currently are for what's called relapsing remitting, and that's the kind where someone has an attack and then they get a little bit better, and maybe they get another attack and they get a little bit better. The issue with those medications is that if you wait 2 years after your first symptom, you may be down the line to the point where you will be disabled and out of society in terms of in your work and your productivity. And we're trying to avoid that. We're trying to maintain people in the society, active members, and time is of the essence when you have that diagnosis. And most physicians are not attuned to it, and you often have to ask a physician, by the way, could this be multiple sclerosis? Especially if they say, gee, I'm not really sure what you have, or could this be psychosomatic, or could this be something else? So it's important to have that on your radar because the physicians may not. And that 2-year lag is critically important. We are now at the point where there may be a new drug available on the market for progressive MS, and that's something that's very exciting for all of us. But we have to find a way to stop the worsening, so at least we remain in society and active. But that's the reason that it's so important.
Whereas multiple sclerosis is a neurological disease of the central nervous system affecting 2.3 million people worldwide, and whereas the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, the Greater D.C. Maryland chapter, reports that in Maryland more than 10,000 people are living with MS, and that this is a chronic and progressive disease that generally first strikes people in the prime of life between ages 20 through 50, and the cause and course of the often debilitating symptoms of MS remain unknown and no cure currently exists. And whereas since 1946, the National Multiple Sclerosis Society has been committed to a world free of MS and been a driving force of MS research, relentlessly pursuing prevention, treatments, and a cure, and has invested more than $900 million in groundbreaking research. And whereas stopping MS in its tracks, restoring what has been lost, and ending MS forever is the mission of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, and one that Marylanders should support. Whereas Montgomery County recognizes the importance of finding the cause and cure of MS and expresses its appreciation for the dedication of the National Multiple Sclerosis Society, the Greater D.C. Maryland chapter has shown towards creating a world free of MS. Now, therefore, do we, Isaiah Leggett as County Executive and Roger Berliner as County Council President, hereby proclaim March 5 through 17, 2017 as as Multiple Sclerosis Awareness Week in Montgomery County. We encourage all of our residents to learn more about multiple sclerosis and what they can do to support individuals with MS and their families. Signed this day by Isaiah Leggett and myself. There you go. Thank you, sir.